What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ajen back again for another Outerplane video, and for today I'm gonna be giving you some tips and advice on some specific stages where I think some players are gonna be having a hard time or a difficult time clearing those stages, because I've been receiving some requests to make a specific guide on these specific stages, but instead of just doing one specific stage guide, I'm just gonna sum it up in one video. So let us do first 8-5. So the very basic thing of advice that I can give to every players out there that are having a hard time in clearing stages is to read the boss mechanics. You can always read the boss mechanics here, just here in the starting stage. As you can see, if you click here in the information here, you can see the boss has no immunities, meaning that you can crowd control the boss or you can debuff the boss to hell. Like for example, bringing Dali in this team is really good because you can just slow the boss and then hit the boss as much as you can, and also the boss will lower his accuracy because Dali can lower those can debuff those things, and also can be silenced because Dali can also do silence debuff. But for these specific stages, you really don't need to kill Maxwell, because the annoying part of this one is that this orb here, you need to kill this orb first before you will be able to get Maxwell to down, because some of you might get a wipeout in this one by focusing on Maxwell, especially if you are doing full auto. Take note, guys, that using full auto in the boss fights are not really recommended because the AI are somewhat dumb, in my honest opinion. So it's better to do it manually when fighting difficult stages like for this one, the boss one, because the AI will always attack Maxwell and not the orb, unless you have an AoE attack, and then you will have a hard time. But you really need to kill the orb first, because once you kill the orb, then all of the Maxwell will fall down. Yes, it does not state here the condition here, but if you enter the fight with Maxwell and you read the skills, you will notice that you need to kill this one for the Maxwell to lower their HP to 1, and then you can just one tap them. Easy peasy. Then let's move on to another hard stages in some of you might have a hard time. I received a request for this one, 8-11. This one is Tyrant Toddler. This one, if you will see also here, as you can see, this one cannot be stunned, frozen, petrified, silence, but you can still use Dali's S2 here, where you can lower the priority gauge of the enemy so that the enemy will not take too much turn, and also lower the accuracy or the hit rate of the boss. Now, if you read the boss skill set here, the boss will get enraged, and then the boss will put up a what do you call this, a barrier that cannot be removed, cannot be stripped. But during this time, this is the time where you can damage the weakness gauge, because you cannot I think the boss has as you can see, this one, the boss has a barrier that lasts for 3 turns, reduces weakness gauge damage by 90% when not enraged. So you need the boss to be enraged for you to deal weakness gauge damage with the usual because usually a character can do 3, 2, or 4 depending on the upgrade of the skills. You need the boss to get enraged and then launch those skills that has some more weakness gauge reduction damage. And also, if you will see here, what is the, as you can see here, attacks all enemies, inflicts petrified on all target, excluding healers for 2 turns. So try to get a cleanser healer like Tio, or just buff an immunity buff like the unit Tyrant Peyran is a really really good character because she can give you immunity buff, an AoE immunity buff for 2 turns if you leveled up her skill. I think I bring Peyran here in this battle, and also another healer which is probably Ava. I already forgot, but I have a clear video with regards to this one. And just bring Noah as your DPS. Noah is the best DPS, period. I think during that time I don't have Noah. So if you don't have Noah, you can always borrow a friend support. That is one of the best tip that I can give you. If you don't have the character necessary to clearing the stages, just try to find it on the friend support. Because it does not matter if you are using a friend support. It does not affect the star clear. I have not 3-starred this one because I have not re-cleared this one. But I think during the global launch, some bosses got nerfed. Because during our time when we fight this one during the soft launch in the C server, Asia server 2, these bosses are really really hard. Most of the bosses here are really really hard, but one thing I noticed, and some other players also notice when they try to do it in global, they think that the bosses got nerfed. Yes. Okay, moving on. For stage 9, the hardest stage in stage 9 is this one, 9-12. Against Leo. When you encounter this one, you probably got one-shotted, right? Because the boss here is pretty annoying. As you can see, Leo has no immunities. No, not this one, not 9-12, 9-11. 9-11 is the one with alpha. As you can see here, this one is the one where Leo will one-shotted most of your team. Still no immunities, so you can crowd control Leo by lowering her accuracy or lowering her speed with Dali. But the main thing to bring here is a stripper. Why? Because this one, Loving Justice Dive, this skill damage increases proportional to the caster's defense. This S3 of Theo, really really powerful if he has a defense buff. And he will one-shot your team if he has a defense buff by using this one. So you need to strip the defense buff of Leo. Does not matter if Alpha has a defense buff, but for Leo, you need to strip those defense buff. How do you strip Leo's defense buff? By bringing a unit that can strip buffs like Francesca or Veronica. I think, and also Alice. Alice can also strip, but no one uses Alice, in my honest opinion. Even in the soft launch server, very few people uses Alice. But Francesca and Veronica are pretty common because they are top tier characters rated in the tier list, and also they are really really good. Francesca is a single target stripper, so you can strip Leo's defense buff here. Just use those skills, your strip skills, once Leo uses his defense buff, because if you cannot remove the defense buff, his barrier will be very very thick. It will be hard to deal damage to the barrier, because if Leo also has a barrier, this one also will increase damage. As you can see, greatly increases damage dealt while Leo has an active barrier. So yeah, this one, you need to pay attention to the boss mechanics. That is why I've said earlier that the best thing that you can do before entering the battle is reading the boss skill set and looking for their immunities, if they have some or not. Moving on to stage 12. 9-12 is not that hard. It's pretty easy. If you get past 9-11, 9-12 is it's no joke. Episode 10. Some of you might be having a hard time here during this one. Keisai activate this one, or where is 10-10 also, some of you might have a hard time. Wait. This one is not easy. 10-10. I think I received some comments regarding 10-10. How do I clear this one? As you can see, Veronica has no immunity, so you can always bring crowd control debuffers like Dali. That is why Dali is top tier, guys. Dali is top tier. So, let us see the boss mechanics here. Attacks all enemies and has 100% to reduce target defense. As you can see, pay attention to this one, guys. Damage is reduced if the target has a barrier. So, you need a character that gives you barrier. Who are those characters? Ava, Veronica. So, you will not be one-shotted once you get hit by this one. You can always tell when this one is going to launch if you see the screen with only one turn. Something like that. Just always pay attention to the boss skill set in the above, in the bar, boss bar, skill bar here in the top. You will always see them if they are ready to launch their special attacks. If there are no any more cooldowns on them, only one cooldown left, that is the time they will use their special skills. So time your barrier buff on this one, and that's the only trick for this one. Just bring a barrier buffer and you're good to go. And also your DPS should be Noah, because Noah can just really kill the boss really easily. This is the only mechanics that you should be paying attention to. This one, damage is reduced if the target has a barrier. Next, moving on to 10-12. As you can see, the boss has a lot of immunities, but still, the S2 of Dali can still penetrate this boss, because I don't think any bosses resist Dali's S2. That is why she's broken. So, Keisai. This one, some of you might have a hard time here because the boss will stun your characters, right? Tio is the best character to bring here. Just take note that Tio will not activate his cleanse debuff if Tio got stunned. So this one is also RNG dependent. But you can always bring Peinan. If you brace Peinan, then you can inflict what do you call this? You can just buff the immunity buff for your team. But the problem with this boss is that this boss steals buff. As you can see, attack all enemies and steals all buffs from one target. So if one of your character has a really good buff and the boss steals that one, you will have a hard time for this one. Especially if you bring Valentine in this stage and you buff yourself with critical hit rate and critical damage buff, and then the ball steals those buffs, then you will really feel pain. Yeah, you will feel hell in fighting this one. So just try to take note on that one and try to bring out a really good character that has will not give you too much buff. Even though Tio will give your team a single party member with a barrier, just pray that Keisai will not steal those barrier buff, because Keisai will also put up a barrier if he stole the barrier buff. This one is also something like a DPS race also. You need to kill this one really fast, because some of the stages are built like that. Some DPS stat check, something like that. And then lastly, for the 10-13, which is against this Demiurge or Stella. As you can see, she also has a lot of immunities, and this one, I think this one got nerfed. I've heard she got nerfed. Let us see. She's the one that inflicts curses. So Tio is also a really good character to bring here because Tio will just cleanse those curses so that you will not get this one. You cannot get a lot of damage from those detonating curse effect. And then when the gods are enraged, so the boss will have some weakness gauge damage taken by 90%, reduces 90%. So when not enraged, so you need the boss to get enraged before you launch those chain skill attack. Because usually the chain skill attack combo is better to use when the boss does not when the boss is on enraged form, because that way you will deal a lot of weakness gauge damage to the boss, therefore breaking the boss. And then if the boss got broken, you will be able to deal massive damage to the boss. That is the only mechanics that you can pay attention to fighting this one. This one is also somewhat a DPS race, stat check, because you need to, I think you need to gather also some you need to also equip your characters lots of CP battery items. Those what do I mean by CP battery? You can get those from the, where is it? Like for example, here in the special gear. Oh wait, I'm lagging. What the fuck? This one, this talisman. As you can see, recover 10 chain points when an attack scores a critical hit. You need this type of gears on your team members so that you will be able to generate a lot of chain points before launching your chain skill when the boss is on enraged form, because that is the only way you can inflict massive weakness gauge damage to the boss if the boss got enraged. And it is a race for that one, because usually when the boss is on enraged form, they have a counter and they will launch their massive ultimate attack. So yeah, I think that's it for me for today. That is for the normal stages. The harder stages bosses are somewhat the same, but they just got some buff. And also try to read the boss mechanics and also pay attention if they have some immunity buffs or not. Those are the best way for you to tackle if you are having a hard time facing a difficult stage that you cannot clear. Well, anyways, that's it for me for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it if you could help me grow my channel more. And thank you to everyone who are supporting my channel. I appreciate every one of you. Until next time, peace.